Welcome to the Cosmic Buster. My name is Bobby Cody. Very excited by this one. Mars Perseverance Rover, a building and insects on Mars. Now this one, it's a very limited number of photos that I've looked at so far, and already it's like boom, 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 boom. This is going to be just 3 photos I'm going to go over, and I'm going to show you the mass amount of things that you can find on these photos. And if you know what you're looking for and looking at, you can really find some amazing things on these Mars Perseverance Rover photos. So I'm going to go through this right now. Let me grab my mouse, make sure I can go through these. I'm going to put up here right now this one photo. And you see that mound off in the background. Okay, immediately that caught my eye. I'm like, whoa, whoa. This is similar to what I discussed in one of my last videos regarding the previous Mars rover, the Mars Curiosity rover. I talked about how when they landed, I saw mound after mound after mound after mound, and they were all in a pattern. I mean, you see the mounds, they're all the same size, and they were in a pattern, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. I was like, that's a city, and those are buildings, and they're covered with debris. I'm going to show you what archaeologists say regarding that once we're all done with this. Towards the end of this particular section, we'll talk about that. But I'm going to put up a little closer version of that right now so you can take a look at it. I'm absolutely convinced. You show that to any archaeologist, especially if that's on Earth, they'll say, oh wow, yeah, I want to dig that. That's almost certainly a building under there, or some type of construction, an ancient building. But that's on Mars, okay? Now, what I'd like to do is show you a few earthly examples, okay? So right here, this one right here, looks just like the one on Mars, right? Except for it's on Earth, it's blue sky, and there's trees. But that's almost exactly like the one on Mars. You know what that is? That's an Olmec Pyramid before it was excavated. You see the similarity? All right? Look at that. Again, that's an Olmec Pyramid before it was excavated. Now I'll give you again, take a look at that Mars one. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll put them one on top of the other so you can take a look at the similarity to the two. I'm certain that is a building on Mars. If we could excavate it, we would find that there's some type of construction underneath there. So let's see. Another example, I just want to give a couple other examples. And this is one right here. If you take a look over here at this photo that I put up, this is an aerial view of Gobekli Tepe before the beginning of excavations. Along the top of that photo, you'll see some mounds. Those mounds are the Gobekli Tepe temples. Okay. Once they excavated and dug down underneath, what'd they find? Boom. They found things like this. It was definitely, a temple, a building, and obviously because they found these structures underneath. We would find something similar if we dug underneath that mound on Mars. Some type of construction, some type of temple, a building, what have you, okay? So now what I want to show is this is from an archaeological website, article. All right, theconversation.com is the website. But notice what it says. But our trained eyes recognize the pile of stones, earthen mounds we saw were suspiciously aligned. Stare at archaeological sites long enough and you'll notice them too. Now, why that is really important is, first, the earthen mounds. Yes, there's buildings underneath, but also notice what they say. The pile of stones, okay? Matter of fact, is it, underneath the photo here, okay, it says archaeologist Jose Ramos from the Belize Institute of Archaeology stands beside a mound of rocks newly revealed in clear jungle. Its size and shape show that this site is part of an ancient building. Okay, it was the size and shape of the rocks that made him believe it was part of a building. Now I'm going to go back again to that Mars photo. Take a look at all those rocks in front of the mound that I says a building. They're almost all the same size and shape. That's further evidence. Again, you talk to an archaeologist, if he doesn't know that this is Mars, they say, "Oh my God, that's a building. I wanna dig underneath it." You tell them it's Mars, they'll be skeptical to say it because chances are that they'll destroy their career. Not because they're wrong, but because this is what happens when you go against the grain and try to. Several people who have tried to cut against the grain and say, you know, this is evidence of life on Mars or structures on Mars or constructions on Mars. They find it hard to get work again because they're blackballed. But make no doubt about it, all the evidence is there. No question about it. So now what I want to take a look at is insects on Mars. There's two photos that I put up here. I've done a photo where I found what I called, I did a previous video regarding Mars Perseverance Rover, where I thought I found, I call them UFOs, but in the video I tell you I don't know what they are, and that they could be insects, or it could be just an artifact of the camera. Those weren't an artifact of the camera. I've looked at other photos by the same camera, and what I said was, if it's an artifact of the camera, we're going to see these same marks in the same location on more photos by the same camera. That wasn't the case. However, I did find more objects in the sky, little dots in the sky, all from the same photo. All from the same camera. So this is one of the photos. It may be hard for you to see, but top left and bottom left, you'll see a couple dots up in the sky on that photo. Now I'll put up another photo here. In this one, if you look in the top left, where there's a little shadow, okay, a little to the right of that top left shadow, you'll see another dot there in the sky. And there's a couple others in this photo too. They may be a little bit hard for you to see. I'm gonna go through these close-ups of them. I did some blew them up. I did close-ups of them so you can see these dots in the sky. And I'm absolutely convinced at this point these are insects, and I'll show you why I think they're insects. I'm almost positive at this point. I've already done a video about a scientist who has already gone through the Mars Curiosity rover, the previous rover that we sent, and he went through photos, and he said he found multiple examples of insects on Mars. Not just fossilized insects, but living insects flying around on Mars. And that's what I'm convinced these are right now. And once after I show you these photos, which might convince you, then I'll give you a little bit more information that will absolutely convince you that these are insects on Mars and that there's life on Mars. So let's take a look at them. Here's one of them right now. I centered it perfect. You say, yeah, great. That's some kind of dot in the sky. This is from, and these are all from the two photos that I just showed you. I'm just blowing these up and showing you examples. Yeah, that's not that good. All right, let's move on to the next one. Again, here's another one, centered perfectly. You can see it. It's some type of dot in the sky. Now, the reason people say, "Oh, that's dust," the reason it's not dust is because if there was dust, you would have multiple of these. It wouldn't just be one isolated little speck. There would be multiple specks flying all around. Absolutely convinced it's an insect. Now I'm going to go to another one here. Here's another one. This is in the middle, but a little to the left. It's a real tiny one. Not able to see it very well. But again, I just want to show you all the ones that I did find. This one again is kind of middle low. You can see it. Again, it's not big. I saved the best insect for last. So, and I think that's coming up in this one right now. No, it's going to be the one after this one. Again, right in the middle, you can see that dot right in the middle of the sky. And here's the one that I thought was, wow, look at that one. I mean, that is definitely something up in the sky. There's no question about it. I'm absolutely convinced that's an insect. If you blew that up a lot closer, you can see that there's no doubt that's an insect. Now, here I want to talk about why this is a great location for finding insects on Mars. The first thing, once I found all these insects on Mars, I said, why haven't I seen this earlier on Curiosity Rover? I was surprised that I didn't see this in the last as much or as often. And I haven't investigated, maybe I wasn't looking for them, but I said, it's one of the reasons why we're finding them here in this location. I said, is its location on Mars? Okay. I said to myself, I absolutely bet you that this location is going to be very close to the equator on Mars, because the equator on Mars is going to be one of the warmest locations on Mars. And where are you going to, you look for earthly examples. On Earth, where do you find all the insects? They tend to be in hot and humid locations, right? So I said to myself, I'm going to find out what Jezero Crater is on Mars. I just did this, before doing the video. And I said, I can almost guarantee it's going to be right near the equator or around the equator. Sure enough, boom. I asked, all right, what's Jezero Crater's latitudes? 18 degrees latitude. Which, on an earthly example, it would be way below Miami. Miami's 25 degrees latitude. So Jezero Crater would be even closer to the equator than Miami. So yes, it's one of the warmest locations on Mars. Okay, so that makes it hot. What about humid? Well, we talked about Jezero Crater and what it is. It's an old lake bed with a river. You can see an old riverbed winding right down into the old lake bed. So it's an old riverbed and an old lake. Okay. Again, you look to earthly examples. Dried out, almost certainly. I'm not saying this has active water running and there's water in the lake there. No, it's obvious that it's not. But on Earth, when you find a dry riverbed and a dry lake, if you're thirsty and you're trying to survive, what do? You dig into the ground to find water. And you're on a dry riverbed or a dry lake bed, you have a good chance of finding water there. That's why the insects are there, because there's still water there in the dry riverbed and the dry lake. So that's this location is one of the hottest and most humid locations on Mars, and that's why we're finding insects there. All right. So that's all for today. There's only 3 photos. I'm going to spend some time this coming up week. I should have a whole bunch of videos coming up, not just on Mars. I'm going to do a few other videos as well on different aspects. But I'm going to really, cut down to the bone and really do a lot of videos this week. So expect a lot of them. If anybody's able to, I got a PayPal down below. You help me keep doing my work. If you can tip me, it'd be much appreciated. Other than that, another way you can help me is like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And thanks for watching, and I'll be having another video up, if not tomorrow, definitely the day after then. Thanks for watching, everybody.